Good morning and welcome. My name is Carrie Saul and I serve on your Fellowship Board of Directors. I want to thank you all for being here today and extend a welcome to any visitors. If you'd like more information about the Fellowship, please visit the welcome table in the fireside room or sign on to our virtual guest book at uufames.org/guestbook. Whether you're joining us from home or here in Fellowship Hall, we invite you to stay after the service for Coffee Fellowship, where you can introduce yourself and join in conversation with kindred spirits. So, on behalf of this caring, nurturing congregation, I welcome each and every one of you to this sacred space. Here, we invite you into an experience of transformation, hope, renewal, and connections, which may inspire you to understand life in new ways. Thank you for joining us today.
Our opening words this morning are from Kathleen McTighe. We breathe the common wind of the earth, no matter where we live, who we love, what language we speak. We drink the common water of the earth, no matter the color of our skin, how long we live, the coverings we drape on our forms. We follow the common paths of the earth, no matter our beliefs, how far we move from home, the gold that we carry, or its lack. May we live from these truths, our hearts open to the holiness all around us, our hands always turned toward the common good. We light this chalice this morning for the wind, for the water, for the paths of earth that have brought us to this place of common good. Will you rise now in body or spirit for our opening hymn, the Unitarian Classic, number 358.
We come Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Riley, and I am our RE helper, if you have not met me yet. And today we will be reading Wonder Walkers by Mika Archer. Wonder Walk? Sure. Is the sun the world's light bulb? Is fog the river's blanket? Do mountains have bones? Are forests the mountain's fur? I wonder. Me too. Are trees the sky's legs? Are branches trees' arms? Is dirt the world's skin? Are roots the plant's toes? Do caves have mouths? Are shells the shore's necklace? Is the ocean the world's bath? Are rivers the earth's veins? Is wind the world breathing? Is rain the day's tears? Is the moon the world's nightlight? I wonder. Me too. The end. And now if you'll help us in singing the children off to their classes with This Little Light of Mine. Thank you.
Will you join me now in a time of prayer and meditation? And our prayer today is from Marcia Tucker. Peace resides at my root, my ground, my rock of stability. Peace resides at my core, the coil of my energy, my hopes. Peace resides at the seat of my will. There is nothing to impede me. There is nothing to make me waver. Peace resides in my heart. The crystal rose therein, pure and pulsing. The realm of love, complete. Peace resides in my voice. Calmness spoken reveals my serenity. Peace resides in my divine eye, my connection with all, open and awake. Peace resides in my mind, the crown of my personal divinity, bearing the jewel of unity with all humankind, my scepter, my power, returned to my hand for me to wield alone. Restored, I go to work the ancient magic. Renewed, I go to direct my power where I will. And thus cleansed, I bring my peace to the world. May it be so, and amen.
Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a spiritual community where we find meaning, a sharing community where our joys are amplified, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. It is a tradition in our community to take this moment to share our joys and our sorrows and acknowledge the mutual support of this community. It's a time for sharing, not a time for announcements. We'll take the milestones from the members in the fellowship hall at this point. You can come forward to the microphone to share them. I will co-opt my position here to say, happy birthday, my daughter Naomi. She is 28 today.
Better light a candle.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. It is good to be together. Our next reading is an excerpt from The More Things Change by Reverend Roberta Finkelstein. I invoke the spirit of Theodore Parker, that fiery and fiercely intelligent 19th century transcendentalist and Unitarian preacher. Parker is famous for several things, including a sermon called The Transient and Permanent in Christianity, in which he suggested that much of the doctrine and dogma of the Christian tradition could be discarded as transient. The permanent, he said, resides in the spirit of faith and can be intuited by every one of us. He horrified most of his Orthodox colleagues with his blasphemy. That is why we love him. On this first Sunday of the new year, when it may feel to many of you that much has changed with the retirement of Reverend Kent, let's use Parker's lens of discernment to determine what is transient and what is permanent among us here this morning. What is the spirit of this faith we share? Certainly, part of the answer is the ethical principles that we covenant to affirm and promote. The inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice, equity, and compassion in human relationships, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth, a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process, the goal of worldwide freedom, peace, and justice, and respect for the interdependent web of all existence. She didn't know we had our eighth principle. Certainly, part of the answer is our commitment to a vibrantly diverse religious community that draws inspiration from many sources. Our own experiences of transcending mystery and wonder, prophetic voices past and present across the globe, wisdom from the world's religions, our Jewish and Christian heritage, the humanist tradition invoking the guidance of reason, and earth-based spirituality. But most importantly, what is permanent, what endures, is the beloved community that each of you freely chooses to associate with. What does all this tell us about what is transient? People come and go, ministers come and go, children grow up and go off to lead their own lives. All of that is, in a sense, transient. What is permanent is the community itself, a community that endures all passages of time, a community built on liberal religious values and Unitarian Universalist principles, a community of memory and hope that links past and present and future in a continuity that transcends mere human passages. Right now, this community is in your hands. It will prosper because of your resilience. It will thrive because of your generosity. It will welcome your grandchildren's grandchildren because of your love and your commitment. On this Sunday morning, you have come home to celebrate the start of a new year. Welcome home, whether this is your first time in this sanctuary or your 500th. Let us covenant together to seek the spirit that is the essence of our faith and this congregation, in words and music and silence, in deeds of charity and justice and hospitality. In the words of Clark Dewey Wells, welcome back to your church. I hope you use it well. Now is the time for our offertory, or our offering. Please know that this morning, half of the non-pledge offering will be donated to Youth and Shelter Services Ember Campus Project. This new youth recovery campus near Cambridge will be located in a serene, nature-based setting and provide crisis stabilization, emergency shelter, and residential addiction treatment for youth. The other half of the offertory will serve to support programs here in our fellowship that make this a community of transformation. We'll pass the basket here in Fellowship Hall, And for those at home, you can visit uufames.org/give to give your contribution today. And if you are visiting here today, please know that your presence is gift enough. Thank you.
Good morning, Central Iowa and beyond. My name is Reverend A.J. Galazin. I'm your interim minister, and my pronouns are he and his. I want to extend a warm welcome to everyone joining us today, both here in the sanctuary and on Zoom. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. And newcomers, I will be meeting with anyone who considers themselves a newcomer today at 11:15 in the library following this service. So please join our conversation if you are new, visiting, or just getting to know this fellowship. I hope all of you had a time of joyful gathering with family and friends during this special season. We celebrated a lovely Christmas Eve candlelight service here at the fellowship. Thanks to Cynthia Martin and Reggie Greenlaw for sharing special music. Thanks so much to Barb for your music this morning, and to Ginny and Kitty and Mary for working together to provide wonderful music every week here at the Fellowship. During the holiday break, I went over the hills and through the woods to my grandparents' house, which is now my house in northern Wisconsin. Travel at this time is tricky, which I'm sure you know, but I was able to arrive safely home, and I was promptly put to work. We had several feet of snow on the roof, and I needed to clear away some of that accumulation of winter storms. Our work meets us wherever we go. And as long as we live, we must devote ourselves to the next important task at hand. So I made it back to Ames right before the next ice storm cometh. And like a breath of fresh air, it's winter one day and spring the next here in beautiful central Iowa. And now it's winter again. I could get used to this fair and mild climate. But I have learned that I need to travel to the edges, to the hinterlands, to fully appreciate where I call home. Our theme for January is finding our center. What does that mean? The first thing that comes to mind to me is developing a sense of balance, of engaging in movement, but having the flexibility to remain somewhat stable. How do we cultivate a spiritual dynamic equilibrium here at this fellowship? Believe it or not, we're roughly at the halfway point of my first year with you. We are at that fulcrum point on the teeter-totter. I've spent these first 5 months with you exploring the edges of this fellowship, walking around the building and grounds, listening to your joys, concerns, and stories, meeting with your teams, committees, task forces, working with your board, making connections with the greater Central Iowa community, and visiting the vital constituencies at Northcrest and Green Hills. Anyone from Northcrest or Green Hills here today? Yay! So good to see you. We sometimes use the phrase growing edges to define what is new, what is exciting, what is moving us on. But growing edges may also include things that are difficult, terrifying, and that have stopped us in our tracks. And then there are the hidden edges that are beyond us, unforeseen circumstances, people who may have left the fellowship, and those who may be inching their way back. One thing I love about the new year is it provides a kind of chapter break in our collective story. We are turning the page and off to a fresh chapter with this new thing that is called 2023. Today I want to invite you to turn over a new leaf and maybe try something different this year. If you're on the edge, maybe now is the time to rebalance your personal issues. Maybe you need to nudge yourself a little closer to the center, to emerge from the hinterlands and plunge into a deeper connection with this beloved community. Next Sunday is a great example. In addition to our 10 a.m. regular Sunday service, at 2 p.m., this fellowship will be hosting the Ames Area Religious Leaders Association's annual interfaith service honoring the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with the theme, The Dream of Many Voices. This annual event was put on hold for the past 2 years due to the pandemic, and I am excited that it will return this year. We will be joined by our neighbors and friends from various traditions as we create sacred space together and listen to reflections of Dr. King's life from different perspectives. Unitarian Universalists have a long and proud history of promoting interfaith expressions of our common humanity, and I am so proud that this fellowship is involved. I hope you can attend this special service in addition to the 10 o'clock service next week and help welcome our guests. One of the big things on the horizon this year is your search for your next minister for this fellowship. Notice I said your search. Although I am here to help guide and support day-to-day operations, I cannot be part of the search process itself. I must keep a respectful distance and be mindful of ethical boundaries. Our UU congregational polity, the way we govern ourselves, is clear. This fellowship is an independent gathering of free-minded people of faith and conscience, and you have the right and the duty to select your own leaders. Now, although you have the right to do anything you want, the UUA has suggested guidelines and procedures to keep everyone on the same page and ensure fairness in the process. And your leadership here at the UUFA has wisely chosen to play by the rules. And that means making a serious commitment of time, treasure, and talent. Please lend your assistance if called to help. And Jamie is doing a fantastic job at keeping us all on point. One of the easiest and most important ways you can help is by responding promptly to surveys and honestly sharing your opinions in focus groups and cottage meetings. This week, all members will be receiving an envelope in the mail with 3 important documents. The Committee on Shared Ministry and the Transition Team will each be sending you a letter introducing themselves and their work and asking for your feedback and support. Much of their work is time sensitive due to the UUA guidelines I've mentioned. This information will also be available on the website with links included in the weekly email. But we have decided that this rare paper mailing to kick off the new year would have a better chance of reaching everyone. So nobody could say they didn't see the email, or it must have ended up in the spam folder. And I'm not pointing any fingers because I have used those same excuses in the past. And the third document in your envelope is our new winter-spring program guide. a one-stop shop for upcoming activities and affinities here at the fellowship. Please take a moment to browse and find something to explore or to become reacquainted with. I really have to thank Bradley for this beautiful design. He is just amazing. It's going to be a pleasure to read this. So here are some of the highlights. The Newcomers Circle, I will be meeting with newcomers after the service on the second Sunday of every month, starting today. The Online Ministry Circle, we are continuing to work on improving the online experience with a wonderful task force that is looking at improvements, and I will be meeting with the online community next Sunday after the service. The Social Justice Circle will be meeting after this service on the fourth Sunday of every month. It will be an informal gathering to share news and ideas and to invite others to share in the work of creating a more just world. The Soul Matters groups are off to a great start, and they are places of dedicated, deep sharing on our monthly themes. And not everyone can commit to joining a regular Soul Matters group with the homework, etc., and the dedication that's involved. So I will be hosting 2 drop-in Soul Matters meetings on the second Wednesday of each month. I'll have a Zoom-only group at 10 a.m. and an in-person group here at the fellowship at 6:30 p.m., and that's on the second Wednesday. It's a time of reflection and discussion. We look at a question that looks at our monthly theme, and we begin this Wednesday. The UU Common Read is a program that links UU congregations across the country with a book to explore. This year's book is Mistakes and Miracles: Congregations on the Road to Multiculturalism, which are case studies from the best intentions of congregations trying to create diversity. I will be facilitating these discussions, and this will also be a drop-in group because the book is very long. But I don't want that to scare you because we will be taking out pieces and letting you know what we're going to be discussing each month. And those sessions will also be hybrids. You can either show up online, or in person. And I have been facilitating the Common Read books for many years, and they've always been very provocative and interesting subjects. And finally, I'll be offering Building Your Own Theology this spring. It's a 10-session lifespan education class for adults to explore personal beliefs, values, and convictions. And I can't wait to teach this class because every time I question my own faith journey, I learn more about myself and others. This class will also be offered hybrid, and that will be on Sunday evenings. Pre-registration is required, and the class may be canceled for lack of interest. So I'm hoping that there is some interest out there. And then I'm really excited about our upcoming Saturday Roundtable series. It's titled, Who's Taking Care? Each month from January through May, we will be gathering on a Saturday morning from 10 to noon to look into a specific area of the fellowship life. These roundtables are meant to find common ground, a place for experts and volunteers and the curious and the interested to gather and take stock of the current situation and plan where to go from here. So on January 21, we will begin with what I'm calling the Building Guardians Guild. Who's taking care of the building? How does this building serve the mission of the fellowship? And what can make the building safer and more effective. On February 11th, it will be the Sunday Program Workshop. Who takes care of Sunday morning? Does it all just happen just like that? What do you like about Sunday services? What topics interest you? What would you like to change? March 18th will be the Religious Education Review. Who's taking care of the kids? Somebody is. What can volunteers, teachers, and everyone else do to support religious education? April 29th will be the LGBTQ Forum. Who's taking care of the LGBTQ people? And what are our next steps as a welcoming congregation? Who feels welcome here? And the series concludes on May 20th with the Caring Network Convo. Who's taking care of people in need, and who cares about making this fellowship a place of kindness? And of course, if you're interested in a specific subject but can't attend the roundtable, please let me know. We will be sure to keep you in the loop. And if you're interested in all 5 programs, good for you. The last section of the program guide showcases all of the affinity groups that are active and meeting here at the fellowship. Perhaps you're already aware of these groups, but please browse and find something that interests you. Your assignment this week, should you choose to accept it, is to check your mailbox every day and look for a top secret envelope from Mission Control. When you get the envelope, open it, take the message to heart, and then decide what to do next. None of us can do everything. That's the beauty of authentic religious community. It's bigger than any one of us. For extra credit, find just one new idea, one program, group, or experience to consider, join, or attend. And please remember, this fellowship will not be able to find its true center if you remain on the edges. May it be so, and amen. Will you rise now in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 114, Forward Through the Ages.
Forward
closing words are from Reverend Marta Valentin. There are many things that I can hold. I can hold your exhausting pain on my lap as you free yourself for a moment of respite. I can hold your unspeakable sorrow in the crevices of my arms as I would hold a babe tenderly and carefully. I can hold your eyes open gently with the tips of my fingers as you fight to stay awake, never missing 1 minute. I can hold the pieces of your heart, mindful not to lose anyone in a careless moment, mindful that you will need them all back when you are able to stop gasping and to take deep breaths again. I can hold you up, walking beside you, a human staff to lean on when your weakened knees buckle predictably as you fight the urge to crawl. But the one thing I cannot hold, for it is too large to grasp, is the sudden hold that has rent the fabric of your life. Now you must find a way to hold it when you begin to weave your life anew. I pray that in time you can overlap strand upon strand of the love that surrounds you into a lasting cloth that will ever hold you. Go now in peace.